हेलो माय डियर फ्रेंड्स। तो पिछली वीडियो तक हमने प्रिंसिपल ऑफ इलेक्ट्रोमैकेनिकल एनर्जी कन्वर्जन के बारे में पढ़ा था फॉर सिंगली एक्साइटेड सिस्टम्स। और इस लेक्चर में हम उसी को आगे कंटिन्यू करेंगे और देखेंगे कि हम कैसे अप्लाई कर सकते हैं इस प्रिंसिपल को डबली एक्साइटेड सिस्टम में। सो लेट मी with our system. We have studied a three leg core system. So I'll be taking the same system, and we will be having a plunger through a support. Let us connect this with a string. Okay, now we will be having here two windings, so that we can provide two excitation to make it doubly excited. Okay, let us say that coil 1 is having I1 current. This is coil 1. This is coil 2 having I2 current. Okay, so there will be a flux in this machine, and let us do a similar study that we performed in our singly excited system. So we will see the system for uh, a very low electrical input, so that the plunger do not move and we can maintain our mechanical energy constant, mechanical energy zero. So the formula would be the equation would start from here. Okay, so what will be your input energy? So input energy, you can write it as I1 E1. E1 is the EMF across coil 1, and E2 is the EMF across coil 2. So EU dt plus I2 E2 dt. So clearly we can see that E1 will be what? E1 will be lambda 1 by d lambda 1 by dt, the flux linkage associated with coil 1, and E2 could be written as d lambda 2 by dt, the flux linkage with coil 2. So putting on these value, we can write d, the electrical energy input will be I1 d lambda 1 plus I2 d lambda 2. This we can integrate from 0 to lambda 1, and this we can integrate from 0 to lambda 2. Okay, now here we need to see one more thing, that because of two windings, because of two coils, so these coil will be having a self inductance as well as mutual inductance. uh, Self inductance due to its own current, and mutual inductance due to the current in other coil. So we have written this explained this whole thing in the third lecture of magnetic circuit, so we will be using from there itself. So lambda 1 can be written as in terms of the flux linkage due to uh, its own current, its own flux, plus the flux linkage due to with coil 1 due to coil 2. So similarly we can write for lambda 2 as well. So lambda 2 will be the flux linkage with the coil 2 due to its own flux, and lambda 2 1 is the flux linkage of coil 2 due to the flux generated by coil 1. So putting on these values, we can denote here I1 lambda 11 d of lambda 11 plus lambda 12 plus I2 lambda d of lambda 22 plus lambda 21. We have not done anything. We have just put on the flux linkage of each coil in terms of uh, uh, its own flux and the flux generated by the other coil. Not done much. So here we can now uh, talk about the self inductance and mutual inductances. So when we talk about self inductance of coil 1, let us say L1, so this will be associated with the flux linkage generated by the uh, coil itself, lambda 11, and lambda similarly lambda 2 can be written as, this can be written as lambda 22 divided by I2. Okay, and mutual inductance can be written as M12 can be written as lambda 12 divided by this is flux linkage of first coil due to the flux generated by the second coil. So here it will be I2, and mutual inductance M21 can be written as M21 divided by current I1, because I1 is generating the flux linking with the second coil. And due to the symmetry from both sides, so M12 can be taken as equal to M21 equal to M. Now just replace these equation in our previous integral equation. So we can write here, next slide, that dwe, let me take it integral part. So this will be I1. So I1 we can replace by the first one. So this is lambda 11 upon L1 d lambda 11 plus, now here it is lambda 12. So let me take out d lambda 12 and d lambda 12 with I1. Now I1 could be replaced by the mutual inductance part. So it will be lambda 21 upon the M. Okay, and plus, now the same thing, lambda 22 divided by 2 d lambda 22 plus d lambda 21, and here here in mutual inductance both flux linkage should come into the picture, because these are due to the both coils, so both flux linkage will come out. Now if we go on integrating this, this has to be 0 to lambda, let us say 1 1, this from 0 to lambda 2 2, this from 0 to lambda 1 2, and this from 0 to lambda 2 1. Okay, now the first and third expression can be simply written as lambda 11 whole square upon 2L1 plus lambda 22 whole square upon 2L2. This second and fourth term can be minimized by as here. So 1 by m can be taken at constant, and it could be taken as lambda 21 lambda 12. Just check this thing. Okay, so it will be from 0 to lambda 21 lambda 12. Okay, so this will come out to be lambda 11 whole square upon 2 L1 plus L1 plus lambda 22 whole square by 2 L2 plus lambda 21 lambda 12 by m. So this is our energy input uh, to the non-movable uh, system. So this will be equal to the field energy. So on the same line, if we want to write the uh, co-energy, so we can easily write it as to be half L1 I1 whole square plus half L2 I2 whole square plus half, sorry, there shouldn't be any half here, plus I1 I2 m. Okay, so we should understand all these terms. So this you can associate with the energy uh, due to the self inductance of coil 1. Energy due to self inductance of coil L1. Okay, the second term is due to L2, self inductance of coil L2. The third expression is the energy stored in the mutual inductance M. Okay, the flux which is linking from coil 1 to coil 2, how much energy content is in that field, in that component of the field. Okay, so from here we can easily calculate our forces. So our force will be what? We can write our force as to be dwf dash upon dx, as we have done in previous lecture, maintaining our I1 and I2 as to be constant. So if you do this, then for this system, it will be I1 square by 2 dl1 by dx plus I2 square by 2 dl2 by ds plus I1 I2 dm by dx. So this is the force on the plunger experienced by the plunger. Now it should be very much clear that what these expressions represent, what each expression represent. Now let us concentrate on the first expression, and you can associate this with previous lecture. So this is the force which will try to maximize the self inductance of coil 1, or in other words we can say that to minimize the reluctance of the flux which is associated with coil 1. Second one is the same thing but associated with coil 2. The third thing is a bit different. This is maximizing the mutual inductance between coil 1 and coil 2. So if we go on and study this in angular motions, then we can write T, the torque, as to be I square by 2 d L1 by d theta plus I, this is I1, this is I2 whole square d L2 by d theta plus I1 I2 dm by d theta. So these first two terms we have studied this as to be the reluctance torque. This is because of one of the excitation and the soft iron. So and this the third term is what is known as electromagnetic torque. To understand this reluctance torque and electromagnetic torque, we should take a physical machine that is having salient pole at the stator and salient pole at the rotor. So consider this as to be the stator, and we will assume a salient rotor as well. Okay, so we will be having a winding on the stator. So these are two poles of the stator. Connect this in series. So this will be having our plus minus, and we will also be having winding on this rotor. So now this is सांची पापा पढ़ा रहे हैं. अच्छा निकाल लो. And the rotor will also be having a winding. So let us say this is plus minus. Let us say the stator is having. अरे यार सांची पढ़ा रहे हैं, बोल रहे हैं, बार बार पढ़ा रहे हैं. Let us say that IS current is flowing, I1 current is flowing in stator, and I2 current is flowing in rotor. So if we consider now this I2 current has to be 0. Let us say this I2 current is 0. Then what will happen? This let us say I1 current is flowing in the stator and I2 current is flowing in the rotor. Now to understand these reluctance torques, let us make this I2 current has to be 0. So now the the reluctance torque will try to minimize the path of the fluxes, which is like this. Okay, so how it can minimize the reluctance? Just by I'll show you. This we have discussed in previous class, but again I'm telling. So the rotor will rotate such as it will align with the flux and reduce the air gap path between stator and rotor. Now we can understand the second part. By maintaining I1 as to be 0 and I2 will be excited. Now again the same torque will be able to move this rotor so as it can reduce the path of the flux. So if we can see make the magnetic field direction, then I2 due to the current in I2, the flux will be like this. Okay, now the reluctance torque will try to reduce the air gap part uh, of the path, and again the same rotor will align like this. Okay, now let us understand the third part, the electromagnetic torque. And this is the torque which will be experienced when we will give I1 and I2 current both. So what will happen? This will be having a north pole and a south pole, and this stator will also be having a north pole and south pole. So the south pole will be attracted towards the north pole, and north pole will be attracted towards the south pole. So this is electromagnetic torque. Both magnets want to align with each other. This is called electromagnetic torque. So here electromagnetic torque expression you can very easily write down. So this is the angle. Let us say this is the axis of rotor pole, and this is the axis of the stator pole. So this is the angle theta. So the torque will depend upon the strength of the rotor magnet, that is I2, the strength of the stator magnet, that is I1, and sine theta. So theta is also called as to be the load angle. So if theta is 90 degree, then it is maximum. If theta is 0, then it is just the torque will be electromagnetic torque will be 0, because both excitation or both magnets have aligned with each other. So this is it from principle of electromechanical energy conversion. And now you can go on and study all those machine based on the concept which we have developed in these lectures. So if you want to any query to be cleared, just put it in the comment box, and I'll try to answer them. Okay, thank you.